Fela Kuti, a name synonymous with the greatest in African music and a pioneer of the popular Nigerian sound Afrobeat, a fusion of highlife music, jazz and rhythms of funk. His legacy was his political-themed music against Nigeria's political elite that led him to be jailed in 1984. But in 1986, this Pan-African revolutionary was released, and his music continued to spread its influence everywhere, even catching the ears of popular musicians like jazz favorite Dave Matthews, Motown Records, James Brown, and even English musician Paul McCartney. Till his death in 1997, he was considered one of the best, and his music lives on today in his children. Femi Kuti, his oldest son, continued the Afrobeat tradition. As the inheritor of the Afrobeat mantle, Femi's music is in high demand all over Africa, and today he is one of the major players in shaping African music. Looking at your journey from starting your band in the 1980s to becoming a world-renowned artist today, what has changed in your music?
First of all, I believe change is inevitable. Change always has to happen. And secondly, because I am more mature, I'm older, I'm more experienced, so all that counts in my new compositions and the way I address each audience or each time I have to perform or record now. I have more experience and I learn from the past things I have done, so it has changed. The style is still music from an African man's perspective. It has a lot of jazz. I would not say too much high life, very little high life. I wasn't a high life, I wasn't groomed in the high life field. I was groomed by my father, who was playing Afrobeats, but he already played a lot of high life. So there is a lot of high life influence in his music. So you could hear or sense a little bit of high life in my kind of music, but you will hear a lot of jazz in my music.
Would you say that politics and power is the general message behind your music?
Yes, definitely. The music talks about social ills, talks about how to develop our society, and I still criticize where I feel things are not being done properly. Like education, I think enough education has not been done for Africa. Healthcare, the healthcare system is enough is not being done for us here at home in Africa. Now I would like to see a railway line, for instance, spanning from east to west, north to south, like I see in Europe. I would like to see big developments in Africa, industries like this in Africa.
Being constantly compared to your father, what impact has this had on your career?
It is not, whether I like it or not, even if I wasn't a musician, my father would have had a lot of influence in me. And I'm very thankful for my life in that sense. It's, even though I've been critical, I still admired his courage, his bravery. Any other man would have, the minute they were arrested or beaten once by the Nigerian police, they would have given up the struggle for the emancipation of the African man. He stood his grounds till his death. He stood here. He could have compromised so many times. He could have moved to Europe, he could have moved to America, had a better, peaceful life, but he stood his grounds here. So he taught us courage, he taught us how to be brave, he taught us how to always speak the truth and never be afraid. So all this I admired very much in my father. I don't know why people compare, and I didn't have a problem because I love my father. I think children who have if they have a bitter relationship with their parents, then that comparison hurts them. So I never felt bad about being compared. Sometimes it even made me laugh. I mean, I never saw a shadow, I never saw big shoes, I loved my father, and I knew what I had to do to become a great musician, which is work hard. So I would practice 12 hours a day. People would say, why are you working so hard? And I knew where I was going, so I'll just keep on practicing 12 hours a day.
Now, looking at the music industry in Nigeria today, what is your opinion?
I think it's very nice. Now, I was saying the other day, and we're discussing, we have a lot of entertainers. not musicians. I would like to see more musicians than entertainers. Now what we have are more entertainers. But now, there's so much energy, and the youth, we have a lot of entertainers because it's so difficult to even buy instruments. It costs so much that many of these young artists coming up will not even probably have been able to afford to buy themselves a saxophone or a good trumpet or a piano or to teach themselves these instruments. Now, but what is important is that this is positive energy, and they are directing this energy in a positive way, and they are entertaining. Now I find entertainment very amusing. I like many of the songs they play. They are danceable. I mean, it's better than them going into drugs. It's better than them going into crime. I mean, they could be very rebellious. They could take it out. They could take hatred out on their society. They could be protesting. They have a lot to protest about. They could be protesting about no electricity. They could be wondering why our society is so backwards. They could vex their anger on the system. They have channeled it into a positive way in entertaining.
Fela was also a major influence on his oldest daughter, Yeni Kuti. And though she is not a popular musician like her brother Femi, the name Yeni Kuti is familiar to every Nigerian. She is known especially as a dancer who participated in choreographing some of her father and brother's performances. And like her father, she is also a political activist. With her brother Femi, Yeni built the New Africa Shrine, similar to Fela's shrine, which was closed after his death in the 90s. Today, they have created Felabration, an annual festival dedicated to the promotion of Afrobeat and African culture, and to celebrate the legacy of their father. Tell us more about Felabration and the New Africa Shrine.
Felabration is a celebration of the life and times of a musical legend, of an African man who wanted freedom for his people. When you come during Felabration, the spirit of togetherness amongst the people is so, I mean, it's so, because people think, shrine, this, they have this negative impression of the shrine. When you come during Felabration, this place is jam-packed with people. No stealing, nothing. Everyone is at peace. The shrine is a celebration of music, of Africa. You have people from all parts of the world, not even just Africa. It's a celebration of people, not just Africa, people, because you have, tomorrow you will come out here, you see a Japanese, you see a French, you see all kinds of people. I mean, we have someone from Rwanda that lives in the shrine right now. He just has heard about the shrine, was coming from the war, and has ended up in the shrine. And you cannot help but help him because he's coming from, so it gives people hope.
Tell us a little bit more about Yeni. I mean, we've heard of your father Fela and your brother Femi, but tell us a little bit more about you.
I choreograph the routines in Femi's band. I've been doing that for the past, since 1986, that's about 23 years. I was dancing in the band till I became too old, and then I had to retire. The younger ones have taken over.
What impact has your father's legacy had on your career today?
My father influenced the way I think. He influenced the way all of us think, because we grew up learning from him. And when you learn something and you believe in what you learn, it will influence your life. So it has influenced my life and the way I think. I'm a very proud black person. I am proud to be black. I'm proud to be African. And my father trained us from a very early age. He didn't sit us down and say, look, learn to be an African, to be a proud African. No. But when you learn, when you watch and you listen and you imbibe, you cannot help but, and you are free to judge for yourself. And I was free to judge for myself, and that's the route that I wanted to go, because I believed in it. Because I remember one of my father's first lectures, university lectures that I went to. I was so enthralled, and I believed in everything that he said, and I agreed with everything that, not believed, that's the wrong word, I agreed with everything that he said. So it has carved the way I think today.